All right, and we are live. Okay. Welcome, y'all. Welcome to Beauty for Ashes, the journey, y'all. I am your host, Honestly D. And Dr. Q here probably be popping back in here pretty soon. We having some technical difficulties tonight, y'all, but that's all right. We pressing through anyway. And if we're not able, if we can't hear each other here, we're just gonna come back and go live straight from Facebook. We making it do what it do, okay? So just know that bear with us, y'all, tonight. Bear with us. All right, we have the infamous Miss Toni Hickman with us tonight.
Hey
Let's give
everyone.
her a virtual round of applause. All right, we got Dr. Q up in here with us too, y'all. Let's give him a virtual round of applause. My team host. Would you like to say something to the people, Dr. Q,
Well, first of all, can you hear
before
me?
we get started?
You can hear me?
I don't think y'all can hear me.
I can hear you, Miss Tony.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, yeah, and I hear Miss Darkest, so it's good to be
I
here.
think y'all can hear each other, but I can't hear either of you.
Oh man, it's good to be here tonight. But so we know something amazing is about to happen.
Exactly.
We
Exactly.
know something amazing about to happen. Um, so Miss Darkest, you can't hear us.
Are y'all on studio equipment? Like, is that the issue? Are you going straight from your Facebook or is it like feeding through studio equipment?
It's through the straight through Yard
StreamYard?
Stream Yard. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, wow. Like, I've never experienced this before.
No, no, we haven't.
Well, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna welcome in the Holy Spirit. We're going to go on and send our prayers up and invite in the Holy Spirit to come have his way so that someone may be touched and life changed today. We thank you, Father, for your presence. We welcome you into this space. As we go forth, prepare your hearts of the people so that they can receive, so that they can be inspired, and so that they can move forward in the direction that their lives are calling them. In your holy son Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right. We are let me see here. Can hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay. We're gonna press through. We pressing through. So
Do we have an audience
I
here?
will ask the
Because
first question. So when we get done asking the questions, Miss Hickman, when you finish answering, just give me a thumbs up. Is that
okay.
cool? And
It
let I wanna
is, but
and when you and actually I wanna pass this over to you so that you can greet the Beauty for Ashes, the Journey audience, the way you want to greet them. And we welcome everyone into the room. And y'all just put in the comments where you're watching from and any questions that you may have. And we just about to have a real conversation tonight. And I just want to let you know, put your questions in the comments. And with Miss Tony, when you are done giving your greeting, just let me get a thumbs up.
well, hello everybody. My name is Toni Hickman, and I'm sure we're gonna go into my story, so I don't want to tell you too much, but I have a story. I've been through a lot, changed a lot, and I'm continuing to change and grow, and I'm grateful to be here, and thank you for welcoming me on your podcast.
That is awesome. And she
All right. And then let's see here.
Can I say
So the
something?
first question
Mm.
is something that is really, really interesting. What's the hardest thing you survived that nobody knows about?
Um, hmm, dang, that goes straight to the point. I know we talked about this, but uh, there's several things I've survived that a lot of people don't know about. But I would say the most recent was um, me driving myself to the emergency room because I was really tired of living. And my cousin called me when I was almost there and kind of blocked me from that journey. So I went in there and just let out my feelings, but I was really ready to end it all. Yeah.
Man. So in that journey, and then in that moment, do you mind me asking, what did your cousin share? What was their energy that they gave to you that made you say, okay, not today? So what was the so that we can help other people be able to see and feel and be able to have the energy or the words that made you say, okay, something is worth living. What did that cousin say to you, or they just love on you? Like what was that energy like?
I don't even think they had the time to just go there because I was in a state of high anxiety and emotional crying, and so their words to me were, man, I'm here, cousin, just don't do nothing until after you go there and talk to me, like.
Mm,
And so it left me in a place where like I had to report back to him.
hmm hmm
Yeah.
yeah, man, that just gives me chills because you just never know where people are standing. You just don't
Yeah.
where they and it doesn't matter whether it's on the ledge, off the cliff. You just need to know where their feet are so that
Right.
you know coach them. But man, that's absolutely uh in two folds of both situations. Yours needing help, and then that cousin saying, hey, you the gatekeeper here. There's something for I think we gotta
The gatekeeper here. Didi, can you put it in your headphones? Is there a way you have headphones?
no, yeah.
Didi, can you put it in your headphones? Ooh. Is there a way you have headphones? Can you put it in your headphones? I'm sorry about the feedback, everybody. We are just dealing with some technical difficulties. I'm sorry about the feedback, everybody. We are just dealing with technical difficulties. I'm sorry about the feedback, everybody.
And it keeps echoing. It keeps over and over echoing. You hear us,
That-
Doc?
Okay, so she got the headphones in now. Okay, perfect. Yay. There's a solution to everything. Okay. um, but yeah, I don't know where we were, but yeah, the bottom line is sometimes when you are having anxiety attacks and in the emotion, it's hard to come out of it unless somebody comes and shakes you out of it. They help you see a different way to calm down. And that moment, he didn't know it at the time because I still was just done. But then when I went in the emergency room and then I had to wait in the emergency room for somebody to see me, and I sat there and then I had to go and be responsible again. So I was just like, you know what? This is over. I'm over it all. Like, let me leave and go do what I have to do. And
Mm-hmm.
that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just had to snap out of it. And then, I think when most people attempt that, they don't have anyone to just break the the energy of like being so panicked about life and just challenged by life. And I think that is why it may be successful for some, but then, not for others. It's because they had a chance to think instead of just panicking the whole time and being enraged and caught up in their own emotions.
Yeah, it's like a stop sign. You know,
Yeah, exactly.
it come you're going through anxiety. You don't know what's coming at you from either way, but you coming to that stop sign, and he was that stop sign, and be like, hey, just pause, just for a little bit, not
Yeah,
not to feel, not to carry that weight, not to just pause, just
yeah.
pause a little bit. Um, let me, and I don't even know if he made it. Just wait it out. Let those people talk to you before you do anything. And then sometimes we just need that person to help us take a deep breath and pause. Uh,
Well, then after him, it was a security guard
mm,
that I was talking to, and she told me about her similar situation where she was in the same predicament and she had somebody else talk to her, and she let me know, like, sometimes all of us get here, we just try and let people think we have our composure, but sometimes we just, we need people to talk to. She gave me a number and everything and was just like, whenever you need somebody to talk to, just call me. So it was like he set off this chain reaction with everybody. And like I said, by the time I had to sit there for a minute, and I'm just waiting I'm waiting in the waiting room, I'm like, there's no way I'm about to sit here. And on top of, when you admit yourself for suicide thoughts, you if you tell them that, like, you want to hurt you, they have permission to lock you up.
yeah,
And I couldn't even afford that because I have big responsibilities on me. So that was like, once I sat there, it was just like, all right, this isn't realistic. Like, you can't do this, Tony. You got too much to live for. Like, but I had to calm down in order to get there.
yeah, yeah. And I'm sitting there, and I'm also thinking of the the gifts of love and glimmer. There's glimmers. There's we got to be glimmer hunters. And sometimes we look for a lot of the things in our lives that are bad, but sometimes we got to look for those
Those key highlights, right? Yeah, yeah. Now I work with a organization that counsels stroke survivors. We do group sessions, and I wouldn't say counsel, but it's a way for survivors to come and unite and talk about things that generally the world would not understand about us,
hmm
because if you just see the physical. And so that's one of the things we do in our meeting is definitely look for the glimmers in life, because it's a good way to start. The
yeah.
glimmers and the wins.
And God sent you some glimmers. He sent you that security guard, and he's telling you how much he loved you. And so sometimes we don't even see those because it's just we're so caught up. But God is telling us the whole time he loved us. He sent this person, a complete stranger, that said, hey, I'm here. I've been there, sister. I'm here. I hear you. I see you. I value you. And sometimes, like, that is all the things that we need, man. I'll share this and we'll go on to the next question. But I'm here at a family function last night. They had a family function. We're celebrating some things. And sometimes I think um, it was really hot. And we're in the backyard, and it's really hot, and the sun starts to go down behind the trees, and this beautiful breeze starts to come, and the music is going. You smell the food. And I looked just for one moment, and there's about 46 family members. And and I've been going through some ups and downs in life, and I I just thank God for giving me a glimmer, or He gave me one. He gave me about from 4 to 12. He gave me from 4 that afternoon to 12 that night of love to show me how much I'm valued, because the world beats us up so much sometimes where we forget who we are. We forget how valuable our life is. We forget that we're valued to some people in our lives, but those people might not be in proximity to us every day, because the world's in proximity to us and beats us up every day. And sometimes that love that we get from our family, we're not in that proximity. And to just be loved for those hours and be valued, man, that gives us more hope. And I think that's some things that we miss because we're so caught up in what everything else is throwing at us that we don't look at the things that are in proximity to us. And I just thank God for your cousin saying pause. I thank God for that security guard saying, I see you, sister. And I just thank God for you saying, yes, life is so much more worth living for, and I got responsibilities. And I think sometimes we get caught up in all the other things, but God has got so much more for you to do, and you know that. But man, what a beginning to this story. But Miss Darkness, I go back to you on your next question and moving forward. But
And we can hear her now, right? Yeah, I think if you talk, we can hear you.
can she hear us?
Right, that's the question. I know she should have the headphones in. I think it's that delayed thing that's coming through. But either way, if you have the next question, we can go.
Yeah. So I would ask, I would like to ask this for the audience. Um, so you get to that stage, you realize, hey, move. So what was the next step following that? What were your next steps, and then what was God doing for you, and what did God put on your heart to do for others after that?
Um, I think this journey in life, first of all, let me say this. In this journey in life, I have learned so many things. I've learned about life, I've learned about God, I've learned about spirit, I've learned about self. And so what I will say that has been the biggest teacher throughout my life has been that, and it's a message that is in the Bible, but we are all made in God's image. And
Mm,
so if we are all made in God's image, and that is the message that has always been in me, but understanding how that works is on me now. And that is that if we are in God's image, then we came here to create. We came here to do. Came here to be that expression of
mm,
what God is. And
mm,
so for me, I choose to be that expression. I choose to be the part of me that is God on earth, to be the highest expression. And that is what is always on my heart. That's why I do so much for others. Um, and now I'm focusing more on doing for myself, but not in a way where it's selfish, but in a way where my cup isn't empty. Because the
yes.
only reason I wanted to go in that route was because I felt like my cup was empty, and it was.
Yeah.
I was depleted, you
Yeah.
know. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's an amazing analogy. You use the God's your complete expression of God, and um,
I mean, we all are.
yes, yes, and I'm speaking because I got you in front of me, but like the tone, your voice, your wisdom, your knowledge, like all of that shows God's love through you to other people. Your smile, like I sometimes I think we forget, that our voice, whatever talent He gives us, that is our expression that we are able to give to this world that God has given us. And I think sometimes we forget that too, that, and it could be just your walk, somebody looking at your walk because you're walking straight, back straight, chin up, and they see the pride that you have. Like those are the little things I think we forget too, and that's an expression of God. Every little thing that we do is an expression of God's grace and mercy. Ms. Darkis wrote that at the age of 15, she wanted to go back. At the age of 15, you were on your own. Um, kind of tell us a little bit about that.
Hmm. Um, I have grown up in, I was born in New York, but I was raised in New Orleans.
Oh,
And I've lived in Atlanta as well, but New Orleans was home. And it's still what I consider home because it's where I learned my most beautiful lessons, but my most harshest lessons.
mhm,
Um, but in New Orleans, well, we went through a lot of things, me and my mother too. But in New Orleans, my mother was washing my clothes and she found some dope in my pocket. and and she was just like, you gotta get out.
mm,
And um yeah, but she didn't just kick me out. That's why I could never take that away from her. She didn't kick me out. She paid my first month's rent, and then just was like, "You're on your own,"
mhm,
and I embraced it. Like I was happy at the time. I still think it's one of the best things because of how I grew up. It's still one of the best things that happened to me. Looking back, like there are, to get into that means to get into a deeper part of my story, but uh there's so many lessons that came from that, but there's lessons that came from my childhood. It's lessons that came from everything I've been through. And again, I believe that our stories, everybody has a story. That's why y'all have a podcast, because everybody has a story that they can tell that
mhm,
they've been through. But for me, it was because I was forced to see myself and be independent. And that is the thing that actually changed my life
mhm.
because I realized I didn't want to be just in New Orleans anymore. I was a rapper at 15. I was performing in the clubs at 15. There was no holding me back. I've always been that way. And so, but when that was the beginning of me going through some more stuff to learn that it was time for my change. Yeah.
Now, so growing up in New Orleans, and I'm very familiar with that area. I recruit that area. My assistant coaches from that area who I recruited from. We
Okay.
go love New Orleans. Me and my wife, that was our spot. Beautiful people, beautiful music, um, cultures, beautiful. Just we love New Orleans, but we know there's some areas where growing up, if you ain't ready, you gonna be ready. As they say.
Look, I promise you, I promise you, there is nothing. That's the only place I ever lived where, like, you go to a club, you gonna run from bullets, you gonna be doing all of that, and it's. I know, especially when I was growing up there. Yeah, you're gonna be running from bullets. It's dangerous,
Yeah,
and people are used to it. It wasn't
yeah,
like it was something that wasn't regular. People were used to it. We was just like run.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
So you at 15, you're on your own. You're understanding. You're doing things. Um, so how did you go from that to where you suffered? I think my understanding you suffered a stroke and those things. So kind of walk us back through that journey and and what did you glean from that and what did God prepare you for to be where you're standing right now where like I wouldn't even have known or hadn't even an idea of you going through that. So kind of share that with us in the audience. Like how did you process that journey and get through all of that?
Well, like I said, I was a hip hop artist in New Orleans for a while since I was 15, but then there were ceilings on that. And so me and another rapper from New Orleans got together and went to my stay with my aunt in New York. And long story short, uh we eventually had to move out of her house. I stayed in the shelter. She stayed with a cousin out there. And then we eventually moved with another cousin of mine. And then she went back to New Orleans. And no, I went in the shelter for a while, and then she stayed with her cousin. And then we both moved with one of my cousins before I had my own place. I ended up getting a halfway house out there, but she had left. And so yeah, that was so I went back to New Orleans to I went back to New Orleans to see my mother. And when I got to New Orleans, because we were dealing with a record label in New York, Jive Records at the time. And they wanted us because like we was New Orleans, we had the New Orleans sound, you know.
Mhm.
And but when I went, no, some kind of way that same company found the Ghetto Twins. And so the girl I used to rap with is like 4 feet tall and I'm 6 feet. So they were looking and they were just like, yeah, they are a better match. I mean, I could see the logic behind it, but it kind of left us in a funky place.
Mhm.
But when I got to New Orleans to see my mother visiting, a record label that was supposed to work with us, um, actually, a record label that used to work with us actually called my mom's house. I don't even remember giving these people my mom's number, but they called my mom's house and was just like, you know, the owner, Tony Draper, want to talk to you. And so he was like, rap on the phone. And I called her on three-way because we at that point we was just like, okay, well, you go ahead and do your thing and I'm gonna do mine, right? But then I called her on the phone and we rapped over the phone and then, you know, got with them. So yeah, that was the beginning of it. But a long journey through Suave House, long complicated journey. And then I eventually became a solo artist and went to they moved me to Atlanta. I hear background noise too, by the way. But they moved me to Atlanta.
Mhm.
You hear that?
Yeah, I hear it now.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, so yeah, they moved me to Atlanta and while I was out there, I kind of just went through a breakup with the record label and just doing my solo thing again. And in 2007, I ended up having my first brain aneurysm.
Mm.
I didn't know what a brain aneurysm was. I had never heard of it. Like that was the first time I ever heard of it. And so but they went in my groin area and with a camera.
Yep.
It's called the angiogram, right? And so they went and they saw that I was having a brain aneurysm. And so it's confusing because I had a lot of issues with this, but they supposedly went in and clamped the aneurysm. And so I thought I was fine. Like I was out for like 6 months because I had back pain and a whole bunch of stuff. But after that, I got back into doing what I do solo and I was in magazines, I was performing, I was doing everything. And then I had created an album and went to back to New Orleans to celebrate with my ex. And when I got out there, his mom made me like some vegetarian fried rice. And I thought I was sick because I kept started vomiting after I ate the rice. So I was like, man, I got food poisoning or something. But Vomiting was one of my symptoms from the first brain aneurysm. But
Mm,
I'm never comparing, like, who thinks that you're gonna have another brain aneurysm? I would have never thought that. Like, that was the furthest thing from my mind. And when they got in my head, because that one was actually bleeding versus the first one. The first one was just, it was there, but it wasn't bleeding.
mm,
So this one, like, most people die from that.
mm-hmm,
Most people die. 50% of people who have a brain aneurysm will die. But if you have a brain bleed, that percentage is greatly increased.
mm,
So, but anyway, they opened my head up. I never had high blood pressure in my life. I still don't now. I'm a holistic health coach. Like, I don't have any of that. But when they opened my head up on the operating table, I also had a stroke. And when I came to, the doctor said I would never speak or walk again.
mm. And look at God. Look where we are right now. Listening to you speak you.
Yeah, but it took a long way. That was the first time I was just thinking, why am I here? Like, why am I here? What is the purpose? That was the second uh aneurysm, and it's just like the first aneurysm interrupted my music, and then the second one interrupted my music. But I realized why that was, and it was because at that moment, at that time, what I was talking about in my music was not healthy for the people, and I my voice was never meant to be unhealthy for people to digest, regardless of belief. See, that's where I don't get stuck in the belief system versus the message. So I don't ever consider myself like a gospel, but more like a realist, a spiritual realist that has a message. I am a high activist now for people with disabilities. I won an Emmy, even though they said I would never walk or speak again. And it's because uh I feel like I'm bold enough to say the things that people are scared to say.
Mm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So with all those things that you just mentioned and all the setbacks, what I just heard you say was you still was not in your purpose, and so you felt like you were in
Oh,
your
absolutely. I rapped about the hood. You said you done been to New Orleans, right? I lived in the heart of the hood. Like, if I could tell you the things I have seen in my lifetime, like, it's unheard of. Like, nobody should have to go through that mentally.
yeah.
But see, the other thing we don't deal with is this concept of judging, this concept of judging people because of their finances, this concept of judging their people because of their belief system, this concept of judging people. So in our judgment, we're not allowed to see people for who they are. So the ghetto is the first thing that everybody shuns, everybody pushes away, but the ghetto is traumatized,
Mm,
and we're traumatized by everybody.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Everybody, not just the you know, quote unquote white people. the
Right.
the the ghetto is traumatized by even people who think that they're better than them.
Mm,
And that's where I see the dilemma. Nobody's better than nobody on this earth, period. We are all here to be God's expression.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, I know you made a comment about this trauma, and I th- I think for anybody growing up in any type of disparity, especially in economical, social
Absolutely.
situations, and different things like that, like you're battling things on a daily basis. Like like you said, there are things that happen that, for example, my assistant, I've known her since she was 17, and for L'Oreal, she is a beautiful woman. Family was beautiful, but they were Katrina babies, and to
Mm-hmm.
see, like, those, there are kids and people, adults now, that are still like you said, still traumatized. We ain't even speaking about the environment. Well, let's just talk about
Just
Katrina.
that. Just that.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yes, and you talk about people who can't. You made a comment when you said that anxiety and that that lack of value, all those things, like, every day stacking, every day, like, there's got to be a release. And so for you to say, like, man, my what I was giving was not what people, like, my voice wasn't built for that, for people
Mm-mm.
to hear that. My voice was built for something bigger and better. And man, just kudos to you, just just to be strong and woman enough, and not so much, like I tell people, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual, but to be spiritual enough to know that the tone of your voice, the tonality, the blessing that God gave to you, you weren't using it for the greater good. And I mean, that right there is what empowers us, when we realize and aware.
Absolutely. I can't agree 100% more. Like, that is what all of us are here for. And to define our voice, like, define, even question it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Question ourselves. We don't do enough self analysis. We don't look at ourselves. It's so easy to point the finger at everybody else, but nobody is looking in. Point at yourself and judge yourself, because I guarantee you're going to find something. You're going
Mm,
to find something if you look more in yourself than you do in others. And that is my journey.
mm,
I am my own experiment. And I think everybody needs to be that. But I'm not here to judge nobody, because I know everybody is here learning, growing, and undoing.
mhm, mm. And you just continuously repeat that. Like, that's not something you do one time. What you're saying is that's something that you do
That's
every
life.
day. Yes, every day. And
Mm-hmm.
don't just do it one time. It's a constant, repetitive thing that you do that. And I was just sharing with a friend of mine, through some things that have occurred, and I was like, I had to look in the mirror at me. Like, I had to, I can't. You do things, and I sit here, and yes, I understand I wasn't as successful as I was supposed to be. And my first thing is, I had to look in the mirror, because I have to own that. I have to understand why, and I have to accept, like, this is me, and I have to figure that mess out, you know? And so, in order to fix everything on the outside, I have, like you said, I have to look in the inside first before you can do anything. And before I can change my voice or my tone can change anything in front of me, I have to change the things that are within me.
Right.
And that's such a powerful statement you just made. And you exactly right. Like, it all starts with the initiation of you being real with yourself.
That's the only way it starts. That's the only way we become. If you just out here just living and going and being and not paying attention to the inner you, then you're just existing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. She darkest for me to ask you, what are some things that you want people to know about you in this world? And I'd say the three most important things that you think, and there's probably more, but the three that you give to somebody, it's like, here's what sums the summation of me, uh in these three statements, or these three words, or these three philosophies that I share. Give us something that we can give to the people, that we can kind of even understand you even more of how you see life, and how you value the things that God has given you and the position that He's put you in.
Yeah, that's a heavy one. I will say I'm very complex. I'm very complex. I question myself. I question my journey. I question my own belief system and if it is working for or against me. So that's one of them.
Yeah.
I believe in the importance of questioning oneself, just like I just shared. But I believe in the it's very important for us to analyze self because it's easier for us to gossip. It's easier for
Hmm.
us to look at somebody and judge them. And this is a lesson. This isn't just like, I became this overnight. I'm still becoming this. I'm not a perfect soul. That's number two. I I I strive for being a better me, but it's because of the rough
Mm.
past that I have lived in my life that makes me better because again I'm analyzing myself and I'm growing from analyzing myself, but I have a long ways to go. So anytime I find myself wanting to judge the other person because they are doing this, they are being this way, or they are even judging me, I have to
Hmm.
say, oh, well, that's just where they are in their life because when I can take that energy off of me, I'm still allowed to grow. They can hold everything, but I'm still allowed to grow because I choose to grow. I've
Those growth.
already been to the bottom.
Yeah. Yeah.
And number three,
I
I
love it.
like I mentioned before, I am a holistic health practitioner.
Mhm.
And sometimes, and I'm still working on me. I'm not perfect in all of it. Uh, but because of everything that I have been through in my life, having two brain aneurysms and a stroke, and I'm still here, and I could walk, and I don't walk perfectly. I'm still partially paralyzed, but I'm still working on that.
Mm.
Um, I just really take my life seriously, and I'm working on adding more joy. I'm
Mhm.
working on adding more joy again. I've had this last 8 years been kicking me hard, boy. I tell you, it's been kicking me hard, but I've been learning a lot of lessons. And but working on my joy is the next journey. But I think working on my inner health has helped me tremendously.
Mm.
It's and I don't mean just like holistic food. I'm talking about the cleaner that we eat is the cleaner that we think.
Mm.
And if we decide to um eat things that are not clean, that are not healthy, that are not purposeful for our life, then we will unintentionally have unclean thoughts, unclean health. It's not on purpose, it's because of our emotions. Now I understand that 100%. But the stuff that we feed ourselves feeds our brain.
Mm. Mhm. And so you we go back. So three amazing things that we can glean from this is you got to look in the mirror and question yourself sometimes, and you gotta you and you it, we got to understand sometimes it's gonna hurt, it's gonna feel uncomfortable, it's not gonna feel easy, but that's the thing, we've got to question ourselves. The second thing you mentioned was that we have to understand um, how we grasp this thing that we call joy. Okay, so you saying me understanding that I've got to smell the roses sometimes. I got to, even through the heart, like there's something there, even in the heart. There's some joy there. there's some light there, and we've got to figure where that is and find it and appreciate those things, because man, we be at the bottom and we stay there, but at the same time at the bottom there's something there that God is wanting to give, that we can grasp, and we can go. You like, man, smell the roses, find that joy. And then the last thing was, you said sometimes we have to, and what I heard was, we have to deprogram ourselves. And basically, what that is, the things that we think, the things that we do, what we take in, what we take, those things are going to translate, whether it's food, whether it's information, whether it's whatever it is.
Yes.
If it's
Yes.
not, we gotta sometimes deprogram that BS, and that the disbeliefs and the old beliefs, because sometimes our old operating system is it's destroying us, because we're working on this old operating system. And you just told me I needed to upgrade my operating system.
That part. And the thing is, I'm still upgrading. We
Yes.
never stop. Listen, my hand is still partially paralyzed, right? I'm just sharing this with you. My hand is still partially paralyzed, but I didn't understand how to braid.
Mm,
I used to braid hair as my side gig in Atlanta. I used to sew weaves in. I did all of that. So, in the hood, you're gonna always learn a skill that gets you by. So that was my skill. But after my second brain aneurysm and first stroke, I could not braid, and my brain did not understand how to braid. So
mm,
I could twist because that's easy. I could do the twist, but braiding was very complex because you have to, intertwine and all of that. And on top of my hand is partially paralyzed. So I was sitting in a mirror one day twisting my hair because that's how I get my little curly look. And my brain said, "You can braid." And I was just, I'm questioning myself. It's been since 2007 that I had my brain aneurysm. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm just like, okay, well, let me try. Do you know, after all that time, I braided my hair for the first time since 2007? I
wow.
say all of that to say we are constantly learning, growing, upgrading, letting go. And all of that comes with like trusting that you can, believing in yourself, believing that nothing is the end. No matter how hard it gets, nothing is the end.
Mm-hmm. 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 Man, what an amazing story. And hearing you there too. And I know, like, you just said to me, is that our words that we speak transform the things that we can do when we really trust the words that we speak.
And then trust the journey. That's another thing. Like I said, I work with a group of stroke survivors, but it's also trusting the journey, trusting that nothing has to be immediate for your healing. You don't just get your immediate answers when you are praying, when you're waiting, when you're feeling like nothing is coming. It doesn't come on your time. It comes when you are prepared to receive. So
Mhm.
it took from 2007 to 2026 for me to be prepared to receive.
Mm, mm, mm. And that's a real statement right there. That's a real statement. Well, Toni, I know we're coming close to the end. How do we, as our community, how do we reach you? How do we get in touch with you? How do we book you? How do we do whatever we need to do uh, to hear your voice, to hear your story, and to get deeper? How do we contact you? What is the best way to do those things? And what do you want to share that you have coming up, or anything that you want to share that can bless us?
First of all, just thank you, everybody. I see the comments coming up, and I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. And make sure that y'all continue to tune in by going to the What is it? What is your YouTube? Say your YouTube again.
Oh, Beautiful Ashes, the journey.
Yeah, so yeah, the Beautiful Ashes podcast. But in order to reach me for social media, you can follow me on all of my social media pages at The Real Toni Hickman, and that's Tony with an I. So it's The Real Toni Hickman. And then if you want to book me for any of my services that I have on my site, or you want to book me for speaking, performing, whatever, you can go to tonyhickman.com. So it's www.tonyhickman.com. And I would say a message that I would love to share with everybody is um, we are growing, we are in a tremendous time to live, and it's okay to question you. It's okay to question yourself and trust your journey, because that's the only way that we get better. But if you have God in your head, if you have spirit in your head, and you are getting these messages and you're ignoring it, then you are ignoring the God that is in you, that is pushing you to become.
Mm. And you said it earlier. We're always becoming,
Yeah.
always
But
becoming.
but you can stall. See, we're becoming life, or we're becoming death. We're
Yes,
not we're never stagnant.
yes,
We're pushed to make choices in our life. So in those choices, we are pushed to either go toward life or go toward the opposite.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Well, Toni, we just thank you. May God continue to guide you, lead you, keep you even getting better, keep you getting stronger, keep your words even more powerful. Continue, my strong, black, beautiful woman, to keep doing the things that you're doing in life, because you are an inspiration. You are another. You are going to save another generation of people.
Oh,
Just
wow.
story and your heart and your love and the passion that I see in you. I don't know if Darkest wants to say a final word, if she can, if we can hear her, or if the people can hear her. But thumbs up, thumbs down. Okay. And we just want to thank
All
our,
right, look,
okay, yeah, view.
that's my big cyber hug right there to both of y'all. You talking about press through? This is what it looked like, y'all. It's not always gonna be easy. Who said it was gonna be easy? Who, and what? And the press through is real. And let me tell you what, your testimony, powerful and amazing. Shout out to everybody. Dr. Q, who you want to let everybody know who is sponsoring us tonight
Tonight we are sponsored
and where
by,
they can find and how they
yeah,
can reach you.
yes, we're sponsored by my nonprofit, Get in the Game. You can go to my website as well, and we'll put that in the link. But it is a cancer nonprofit community where we're trying to help families that are suffering from any type of cancer. We try to help you find ways uh, to do things. We're in the first stages of the journey of this nonprofit. We are trying to raise money so that we can create a fund that can help families for years to come. So we're in the beginning stages, but it was sponsored by Get in the Game, people helping people. And so we would love for people to continue to reach out, continue to watch Beautiful Ashes, the journey. We have some amazing stories. We have some amazing things that we talk about, and I just thank God for allowing me to keep being a part of Miss Darkness's vision. She's got something special, and I hope we can keep growing it. Miss Toni, I hope we can get you back on so we can go a little bit more deeper, because I know this was just the surface. This is
I
just the
think, I think that the technical difficulties kind of threw the energy off for a minute, but I felt it kick in toward that second half. It was like, all right, I'm here.
yeah.
So
We here, and we got to get you back so that we can go a little bit deeper and redo this. But
I would
uh,
love to. Yeah,
Thank you for your love, your energy. God has got so much in store for you, and anything I can do, please let me know,
much love. Yes.
baby. I love my love and speak. So, Dark, do you want to end this? You want me to end it? How you want to do this? Yeah, trying to see if she can hear us.
Okay. Oh, thank y'all so much. Thank everybody that's pulled up tonight to watch. You guys, Tony, sis, did you let everybody know where they can reach you, book you, all the good things? What you have coming up? You covered all of that already. Anything else you
Most
want
of
to
it.
share with us? Some amazing
Um,
upcoming projects you have going on?
Yeah, I would say first of all, follow me. I'm doing a new series starting June 30th called Running by December. Because my goal is to get to a point where I can run again. So if you follow my journey, I'm definitely going to do that. And I also have a course that is coming up. But um next time I come on, we're gonna share that. We're gonna
Yes,
share because I don't want to rush through that. That needs to be talked about.
yes, man.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye bye.
All right. Shout out to everybody. Thank y'all so much for being here. And we appreciate everybody for pulling up. Okay, we are gonna check out of here. Thank you, Dr. Q. Thank you, Tony. Y'all, please excuse our technical difficulties, but we wanted to come through anyway, y'all. We said just know that this has been yet another Beauty for Ashes, the journey, baby. Thank y'all so much for being here. Till next Sunday. Know that we love you to life, but Jesus died for you, and don't you never forget it. All right. Oh, shout out to Brother Tom for making this connection happen. All right, y'all.